So, Josh Taylor outboxes, outclasses, outmaneuvers, drops twice, and beats the crap out of Ohara Davies, thoroughly dominates him, makes him quit in 7 rounds. A very, very good performance by Josh Taylor. Ohara Davies really and truly was out of his depth in this fight. Davies came out loading up straight away looking for the big right hand. Josh Taylor in the post-fight interview did say that, to be fair, Ohara Davies is pretty heavy-handed. He wanted to have a look at Davies early on and see what his power was like, and he said, yeah, he can punch, but he was very crude. And Ohara Davies's lack of amateur experience as well as pro experience really showed up in this fight. Josh Taylor was a far more experienced amateur. His technique is far better. We knew his technique was far better going into the fight. It wasn't a case of who had the better technique. It was a case of, who could make their strengths count on the other guy. Ohara Davies's strengths being having the long arms and the punching power and the awkwardness. Would that overcome Josh Taylor's superior technique, hand speed, balance, etc.? Clearly not. Now, I think that if you had a more experienced Ohara Davies, and Ohara Davies with 20 fights, 30 fights, he might have been able to last longer in the fight, maybe go the distance, maybe stand a much better chance of winning. But I think it was actually Ohara Davies who let the emotions get hold of him in this fight and not Josh Taylor. I was a little concerned before the fight that maybe Josh Taylor was a little too fired up and Ohara would be the cool one. But no, it was the other way around. I thought Ohara was too intent on landing a big bomb on Taylor, and that played into Taylor's hands because Taylor was the counterpuncher in this fight. He was the one landing most of the counters. Ohara was the one who was leading off, and Ohara was wasting a hell of a lot of shots. He was loading up with wild swings up close. I mean, that was just such a terrible mistake. It was so amateurish. If you're going to swing, particularly if you're as long-armed as Ohara Davies, swing at long range. Because if you swing at long range, having the longer arms, you still might get away with those swings if you miss. Whereas if you're swinging at mid-range and close range against Taylor, who has the shorter arms and the more compact, correct technique, he's going to punish you up close and at mid-range. And that's exactly what Josh Taylor did. He countered Ohara Davies beautifully and dropped him a couple times, was sinking beautiful body shots in there. This is not to say that Ohara Davies didn't have his moments. There was a couple of times where I thought he maybe stunned Josh Taylor a bit. Josh Taylor was up against the ropes at times. He retreated, and I think Ohara did manage to buzz him. Didn't hurt him badly, but he certainly caught Taylor's attention and buzzed him a little bit a few times in the fight. But he never looked like he was losing control, and he held his technique together, boxed very well, and he did exactly what you're supposed to do against a guy like Ohara Davies. Ohara Davies, really wasn't thinking. He was just marching forward, swinging wild shots. It was really poor stuff, actually. Even though we all knew he was kind of crude and ungainly going into the fight, you still have to be conservative and you still have to know when to throw certain punches. If they're going to be wild, sloppy shots or they're going to be correctly delivered, you have to know when to deliver them. And Ohara Davies didn't know when to deliver them. He was swinging these wild, wide hooks on the inside against a guy who's a much more compact puncher. Terrible decision. Yeah, stick to the straight shots at long range on the inside. Shorten your punches, or if you're not going to shorten them, don't throw alternate right and left hands. Stick to right hands. Don't even throw the left. Don't crank with the left. But it was what it was. Ohara Davies' inexperience showed in this fight, I think, mentally more so than physically or technique-wise. Don't get it twisted. Technique-wise, his lack of polish showed, but I think the fact that he is mentally inexperienced showed more than anything. Because, as I say, he wasn't throwing the right shots at the right time. He was doing the wrong things at the wrong time. So, yeah, fantastic win for Josh Taylor. He marches on, moves onwards and upwards. Ohara Davies made a hell of a lot of money from this fight. I believe he made over 100 grand. That's what I heard Eddie Hearn saying. 6 figures, over 6 figures. So he made a lot of money. Will he continue boxing after this? It's been a very fast career so far for Ohara Davies. He's particularly over the past 12 months or so, he's really shot to prominence in British boxing and made a name for himself. managed to, you know, make a good amount of money, particularly from this fight. So will he move on to something else? Will he continue boxing? How will he take this defeat? Because he put a hell of a lot into this fight, emotionally and mentally, believing that he would win it, you know. So this is make or break really for Ohara Davies. We'll see what happens. But as for Josh Taylor, fantastic win. The more classy, more skilled boxer, the more experienced boxer won the day. So hats off to Josh Taylor. It was actually a pretty good fight. And I thought it would be because you got two young guys who are cocky, who are arrogant, who believe in themselves, who want to prove themselves. These aren't two world champions. These aren't two seasoned campaigners. These are two young guys who, you know, are trying to prove themselves. And in those situations, that's normally when you get good fights. So it was a good fight while it lasted. And a lot of good fights happen on Channel 5, to be fair. So, yeah, there you have it, people. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you felt about the fight and the way it went down. I didn't pick a winner in the fight. I was on the fence for this one. I couldn't decide whether it was going to be Josh Taylor and his superior technique, balance and whatnot, or it was going to be Ohara Davies with his awkward style and his heavy hands. In the end, you saw what happened. So, yeah, let me know what you thought about what happened, and let me know what you think about Ohara Davies quitting. He did quit in the fight, there's no question. He turned his back. He seemed to have hurt his nose. Josh Taylor cracked him in the nose after he rose from a knockdown in the 7th round, and Ohara Davies turned away. He didn't want it. He actually quit in the fight. Has Ohara Davies criticized other fighters recently for quitting? I'm not sure. Did he criticize Kell Brook? I'm not sure. But if he has, then those words will come back to haunt him. Let me know how you feel, people. It's happening. I'm out.